Best and Worst Moments from the 2025 Tony Awards. There was a Hamilton reunion, Nicole Scherzinger's outsized grandeur and Cynthia Erivo's pleasant sing-off music. But those cheesy projections were a big miss. Best Reunion. The Hamilton cast. It was plugged before what seemed like every commercial break, but when members of the original cast of Hamilton finally gathered on stage at Radio City Music Hall for a 10th anniversary reunion performance, the hype proved justified. Sleekly lit and dressed and choreographed, Lin-Manuel Miranda and Leslie Odom Jr. were gloriously back, so were Philippa Sue, Renee Elise Goldsberry and Jasmine Cephas Jones, and that Tony-nominated guy who played King George. The 8-song medley, which included My Shot, the Schuyler Sisters, and The Room Where It Happens, snapped. I'd make room for it on any list of all-time best Tonys performances. Scott Heller. Best Inspiration. Here's to you, Mr. Robinson. The smooth baritone, the sly half-smile, and the wink at the camera. This guy had to be an actor. And once upon a time, he was. But Gary Edwin Robinson received a Tony Award last night for his second career as a teacher at Boys and Girls High School in the Bedford-Stuyvesant neighborhood of Brooklyn. Accepting the honor in that voice that could make you believe anything, he said that he trained his students not merely to appreciate theater, but to find careers in it. Appreciation is of course valuable, but the harder thing is to instill in young people the idea that finding the theater in themselves can be honorable and even necessary. Best Epic Acceptance. Nicole Scherzinger. Nicole Scherzinger's acceptance speech was as epically demonstrative as her movements in Sunset Boulevard are controlled, restrained, precise. The acknowledging of the exceptional warrior women in this category. The shaking, the crying, the swooping motions from the hand that was not holding her new award. At times it felt like seeing a modern Maria Callas shaking her fist at the heavens, except that for once those heavens had ruled in her favor. There was an outsized grandeur to the drama of it all that felt classical. Can Medea be far off? Best Placement. Cynthia Erivo's balcony bit. It's become an award show staple. The host schleps up to the balcony seats to mingle with us regular folks and maybe tell a joke or two. Erivo's ascent at Radio City was worth the climb. In a night of 1,000 costume changes, her pink candy wrapper of a dress was a zany delight. And the atmosphere up there lent itself to deft comedy, about her height, about Abraham Lincoln, and, best of all, about why sitting far away was the best place to watch Jonathan, he spits when he sings, Groff perform. So please welcome the man who makes everyone wet. Best Nightclub Act. Jonathan Groff as Bobby Darin. Showmanship is distinct from acting. It's an elusive, unfairly distributed quality. You have it or you don't. Groff's dynamite medley, Mac the Knife, That's All, and Once in a Lifetime, proved he has it. In this context, merely delivering a song well isn't enough. You have to sell it. It's something that Bobby Darin, the subject of Groff's current vehicle, Just in Time, had. At Radio City on Sunday, Groff moved like a man possessed by the need to entertain, straddling a seated Keanu Reeves's head and driven by the rhythm of mad bongos. Please, let him host the Tonys next year. This season, virtual scenery reached critical mass on Broadway in Sunset Boulevard, the picture of Dorian Gray, Redwood, and maybe happy ending. The Tony Awards telecast followed suit, ditching traditional flats, drops, and clunky wagons in favor of digital backgrounds that ultimately looked cheesy. Literally cheesy looking in the case of the excerpt from Operation Mincemeat, a totally old-tech musical performed during the ceremony in front of yellow-wash screens that made the actors look as if they'd fallen into a vat of fondue. Why would the producers of a theater awards show make such an anti-theatrical choice? For the same reason some of the less artful shows do. It's faster, cheaper, and, for audiences who have to be pried away from their own screens, perhaps more enticing. Best Homecoming. Asian and Asian American artists win big. It was a historic evening for a troupe of Asian and Asian American theater artists, including Nicole Scherzinger, Francis Ju, and Darren Criss, who all won Performance Tonys. Marco Paglia also received a Tony for his Buena Vista Social Club orchestrations, and Hugh Park won for writing the lyrics and co-writing the book for Maybe Happy Ending, the evening's breakout success. In their speeches, several of the artists made reference to feeling left out or ignored before finding a home in the theater. Scherzinger, who noted her Filipina, Native Hawaiian, and Ukrainian ancestry, said, "I always felt like I didn't belong, but you all have made me feel like I belong, and I have come home at last." Best sell, making the plays pop. Or all their glamour and their genuine recognition of talent, the Tonys are an industry advertisement, meant not only to sell tickets in New York, but also to give the nominated shows a life beyond Broadway. Musicals, with their colorful numbers, have always had an advantage in making their case for that. Plays, by comparison, have tended not to translate. But there was real charm to the way this year's Best Play nominees were introduced. With a framed screen of video clips playing upstage, a Tony-nominated star from each show spoke with an insider's affection while giving a synopsis of it. Marjan Neshat for English, Sadie Sink for John Proctor as the villain, Cole Escola for Oh Mary, Harry Lennox for Purpose, Laura Donnelly for The Hills of California. It was easy to imagine would-be producers and audience members out there. Their interest suddenly piqued. Best Sing-Off, Cynthia Erivo's My Way. It's always a delicate matter. How to usher off winners whose speeches go too long. A clever step up from canned elevator music. Erivo singing a passage from the standard, My Way, popularized by Frank Sinatra. When Cara Young, accepting her award for Purpose, was still in the thick of her extensive list of thank yous to those who had made her back-to-back featured actress in a play wins possible, it was a gentle balm to hear. And now, the end is near / and so I face the final curtain, worst placement, pre-show spot for book and score awards. Not every scene deserves a spotlight, but relegating the book and score awards to the Tonys pre-show felt at least a little rude. What is a musical without its songs? Or its occasionally effortful patter between songs? And is dance really an also-ran, too? At the 2025 Tonys, a win for, maybe happy ending, was practically assured after its wins for book and score, though viewers watching only the main broadcast would never have known this. Couldn't we swap out a drug ad or a few host jokes to show these prizes on the main stage? Best Farewell to Cynicism, Hester's Open Heart. In the World War II caper Operation Mincemeat, Jack Malone's big song, Dear Bill, is nearly 6 minutes long. It's a major reason he won a featured actor Tony, because that is the moment when his character, a middle-aged British intelligence secretary named Hester, opens her wounded heart to the audience. They weep for her, Malone said in his speech. They invest in her. They love her for her old, romantic heart.